Every time I go to a Magic event, I only see one or two women playing. Why is this? Magic the Gathering is a trading card game created in 1993 by Richard Garfield. As of 2011, it had roughly 12 million players, and that number continues to grow each day. Out of that 12 million Magic players, only 4,056,000 are female Magic. Women represent 38% of the Magic community, but at events that number is much lower, only around 7%. Why is this? There are three main theories on why this could be. The first main theory is stereotypes. Stereotypes may prevent females from becoming Magic players because they think the game is not for them. The second theory on why there are few female Magic players is that some of the players in the community discriminate against females because they don't want to play with them. Another reason women may not play Magic is because of the portrayal of them in the card art. I think the stereotypes discourage female Magic players from playing because the stereotypes make people think it's only for nerds or other things like that, and they don't identify as one of the things that is part of the stereotype. I think the stereotypes discourage females from playing Magic because they make people think it's only for, nerds or geeks or some class of people that they don't identify with. To paraphrase one of my interviewees' examples, some girls like pink because they think they should and everyone expects them to like pink. And some people think all girls like pink because some girls like pink, and some girls think that they should like pink because some people think all girls should like pink. That happens again and again and again. So the stereotype repeats itself over and over and over. The stereotype of women not playing Magic discourages women from playing Magic because, they think women shouldn't play Magic. Another possible reason why women don't play Magic is because of gender discrimination. To borrow an example from another interviewee, some people's mindsets about girls are kind of like Calvin and Hobbes. Gross. Get rid of slimy girls. They just don't want women playing Magic. Why this is, I don't know, but maybe it's just an irrational fear of women. Some players discriminate against female Magic players because they have the feeling that it's a boys-only game. But whatever the reason, they don't like women playing Magic, so they discriminate against them. Another reason women may not play Magic is because of their depiction in card art. Women are depicted in such a way that it may be offensive to them, and because they are offended, they may feel like they don't want to support a company that depicts women in such a way. Or they may also not play because they don't want to see a depiction of women that offends them over and over and over again when they are playing.
Namely, tabletop gaming. I've already mentioned my love for Dungeons & Dragons numerous times, but another huge faction of my life was card games, and that includes one of the best, Magic the Gathering. Magic is the grandfather of collectible card games. It first came out in its alpha form in 1993. I started getting into it around 1994 or so, during its unlimited release, and I played it a lot with my friends and my brothers. Hey, do you want to hear a quick Magic joke? Banding. Like 5% of you will get that. Magic encompasses so many wonderful things in gaming. The strategy, custom-made decks, social interactions, and the excitement of opening up a booster pack to see what lucky random cards you got.
Now on to the interviews.
My name is Eben Lapierre. I'm a teacher. All kinds of stuff. I ride my bike everywhere. I play Magic. I play video games. I sleep. I drink a lot of coffee. I don't know. I play tuba. It's something I do. I started playing when I was in 6th grade. So that was 99. And then I quit for like 10 years. I stopped playing when I stopped playing when I got to high school, and then picked it back up just last year, actually, when all my students started playing again.
My name is Jacob Schaffer. I'm an architect. Hobbies, writing, hiking, and playing Magic the Gathering. I have been playing Magic since I was in 3rd grade.
Common Horizon. Magic, of course. Role-playing games, board games, science. 8 years now.
Hi, my name is Jessica. I started playing Magic about 2 years ago. I found a box pretty big box just filled with magic cards at my house because my dad is like a huge magic player, but he stopped playing because nobody would play with him anymore because he was like kind of weirdly old and stuff. And we went through all the cards, we sorted them. It was really hard because they didn't have like the same labeling system as they do now. My sisters played a little bit too, but I was the only one that really stayed interested in it. At my old school, a lot of the boys played Magic, like almost all of them actually, but only 2 of the girls played Magic, and they actually never played with them. I was one of the girls, obviously. And here, a lot of the boys play Magic too, but I'm the only girl who plays Magic. Yeah, but there's less girls, so that's pretty obvious. Yeah.
Okay, what are some of your...
Some of my hobbies would be music. I'm really into music. I play a lot of instruments. I sing. I like to read. I guess that's a hobby. I like to watch TV.
What are the stereotypes of the Magic community?
A lot of people think that Magic players are just really nerdy, and I think that a lot of stereotypes are stereotypes because a lot of people are actually like that. Like some ways, like either they're like passed down like racism or stuff like that, but like that, like I don't know, what's a stereotype? That girls like pink. Girls like pink because people say girls like pink. And I think that a lot of people like would like Magic, but they don't play because it's stereotyped that it's nerdy. And I think that the people who do play Magic are just like really into it. And that may be considered nerdy or whatever, but I don't know.
From the outside, yeah, it's a basement dweller. The guy who lives in he's 35 and he lives in his mom's basement. Comic book guy from The Simpsons.
Geeky guys who sort of do their own thing and like not very social, not like they're smart and sort of kind of like too smart for their own good.
Probably someone. There's a couple. There's like a guy who's like 30 who like is like overweight and has like a really gross beard and like is kind of mean to little children. And then there's like young player who's like doesn't know and he's like 12 or 11. I was that guy. I don't know. And then generally like male. Like I would say like it's a ridiculous really high percentage of Magic players are male, and I think it's just like the dude community, which is unfortunate. Like I don't see any reason why it can't have more women playing Magic, so
Probably this. Fair. I don't know, just neck beard, big, fat, fedora, black overcoat, glasses, anime-like, person who loves anime kind of thing. Hates half the Star Wars movies, loves the other half to a extensive degree. What else? I don't know, can recite every line from Star Trek Next Generation. What's the stereotype?
After interviewing these people about the stereotypes of the Magic community, I realized that almost everyone thinks the community is composed of fat, bearded, white males. This is unfortunate because, well, the lack of females shows that there's probably gender discrimination within the community. After realizing gender discrimination was a distinct plausibility within the Magic community, I decided to talk to the same players again to see what they thought about that. Is there gender discrimination in the Magic community?
Oh yeah, it's the nerd community in general. I use nerd as a nerd, but the community is it's kind of tribal in a way, right? And the gender discrimination I think comes from not wanting other people in your group. And it's gender discrimination. There's also a degree of racial discrimination. You go to Channel Fireball and it's all white dudes. Like there's a couple of Asian guys. There's one or two girls. There's somebody's mom, but it's predominantly like 25 to 35-year-old white dudes.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't want anyone else in their tree fort. It's like Calvin and Hobbes. They got the sign up like no slimy girls in my magic card tree fort. And it's ridiculous. But it happens in video gaming, it happens in games journalism, it happens across the nerd culture.
That's definitely like that's probably the biggest challenge the community as a whole faces. Like I know from I've run into it from, like, not personally, but friends I have told me they've run into it. Friends who are women, so they have to, like, that's, I guess, what I see, but I've been part of the community for so long, I guess I don't really see what it's like from the outside that much anymore.
I don't know if there's actual gender discrimination, but I would say it's like just lack of gender. Like if someone's being like a jerk and it's sexist, I think most people I know who play Magic would be like, "Hey, you're being a jerk and sexist, and that's not something we do here in the community. It's a safe space."
Magic community. I'll tell you something. None that I've seen. Well, personally, there's an apparent lack of, female representation in these tournaments I go to. I don't have any, female friends who actually do play Magic the Gathering. But, tournaments, I see very little representation, if at all. And mostly just dragged along there by their boyfriend or whatever, but, yeah.
After talking to some of the players, I realized that gender discrimination was part of the Magic community. Although some did think that it was just a lack of gender, most thought it was truly gender discrimination, active gender discrimination. Speaking of the gender discrimination, I also wonder, are the stereotypes accurate? Because if they are, maybe that's what's driving the gender discrimination, or maybe the stereotypes are being driven by the gender discrimination. Are these stereotypes accurate in your experience?
It really depends on where you are. So, like, the sort of people who do midnight launch parties, it's pretty accurate, unfortunately. But honestly, I normally play Magic with my personal friends, and I'm the only guy in that group, and we'll hang out and we'll play really casual, fun games. So the Magic community is really just the friends of anyone who plays Magic, and so that's what really makes it special.
Yeah.
And the problem with the stereotype is that the people who go to big events are the people who perpetuate that stereotype.
Some of them are. Some of them, like, you have to have a certain level of intelligence to play the game, but that doesn't, like, just classifying anyone who plays Magic as, like, a super genius is a little too much. But, like, a huge fun of the game is the fact that it's a game and it's a challenge, and you have to, like, you're given these tools, like your card, your deck, these selections and how you play them, and that's how, like, you win, and that's how you play the game. And if you didn't enjoy that, you wouldn't be playing the game. So, like, the stereotype is sort of true, but it's also, that's just because of the way the game works.
I have played against a lot of, like, big guys with growth beards in their 30s who are mean to children, so I guess.
Compared to other, racial and ethnic stereotypes, relatively accurate. Relatively. You will find some people who fit it on point at tournaments and stuff, but of course that's still a relatively small percentile.
I talked to the players again about whether the stereotypes were accurate, and it seems that they mostly are. I'm still wondering whether the stereotypes are driven by gender discrimination, or the gender discrimination is driven by the stereotypes. Next, I decided to talk to players whether the stereotypes affected them in any way, negatively or positively. These stereotypes affected you in any way?
I mean, I was driven into Magic by the stereotype, right? I was the little nerdy kid.
Yeah.
And the little nerdy kid wasn't friends with the football players. The little nerdy kid didn't hang out with. I mean, I was at a big school, so we had a football team, we had cheerleaders, we had all that. And so like I'm a little nerdy guy. My circles of friends were the kids in jazz band and the kids who played Magic, and that's the stereotype, and that's where that started for me.
Really? But that's just like I guess there hasn't been like much of a part of my life where Magic hasn't been something that's I've been doing for like I've taken short like breaks where I don't play as much, like during like Lorwyn block or recently during Theros, but that doesn't mean I'm not playing or like following people who are a part of the game. Like the stereotypes I haven't really run into because that's just who I am as a person already. So like them being stereotypes doesn't affect me any more than who I already am.
Type affected, like, how I view Magic players community.
Yes.
Even though I mean, occasionally when I enter like a room of Magic players, like a convention or a tournament or something, I'll occasionally just roll my eyes if I see, just like a lot of the stereotypes crowded around the table and be like Magic players.
After talking to players again, I realized stereotypes were negative, but did not have completely negative effects. But this didn't help with the fact that the stereotypes were bad for the community and bad for the players within. Finally, I decided to talk to players whether there was a way to stop the stereotypes, and... Is there a way to stop the stereotypes?
Break it.
There absolutely is a way to break it. The way to break it is by getting out of that box, is by being willing to teach. Like, not being concerned about winning, but being willing to, like, show someone what you're doing. Like, I'm not keeping secrets. I'm not like, this is my deck. Don't look at my deck. Yeah, sure, you can look at it. Check it out. Look how crazy this is. I can make these...
Yeah.
And showing people who are curious but nervous that it can be fun. That it's not just a game for people who are obsessed with victory. That's not just a game for comic book guy and his friend Spike. But that it's a game for anyone who wants to play.
Yep.
I mean, introduce it to a wider variety of players. If more people know of it, then it's a way to stop all stereotypes, really. Get them to actually know the players, get them to actually know the community, get them to know the game.
After talking to the players, I realized that there are stereotypes and gender discrimination happening in the Magic community, but I have not come to a conclusion on which theory is true, if only one, possibly both. It's also clear that we need to stop the stereotypes in the Magic community because it's very detrimental to it, and it hurts people who would have fun playing it but don't because of the stereotypes. Stereotyping is very bad for the people it affects. We need to stop stereotyping.